Good evening, I'm Patricia Vallone with a CTV News update. Snow, sleet, and rain. That's the forecast for the Washington region today. Katira Jones is standing by with more.
If you were expecting heavy snowfall for Prince George as well, you are out of luck. Forecasters anticipate a wintry mix of snow, which we are experiencing right now, rain and sleet with little accumulation for the county. However, these weather conditions can be dangerous for drivers.
It's fairly decent. I haven't had any trouble driving on it, but if it snows more than this, I think it could get a little rough.
Drive slow because we're going to get black ice out here. We get that dangerous snow out here. You got to drive careful, drive slow.
It's important to drive slowly, especially when there is snow and ice on the roads. Also, drivers should make sure their tires are properly inflated and have plenty of tread. Reporting in Largo, Katira Jones, CTV News.
Most snow was forecast for northern Maryland. Here in Prince George's and surrounding suburbs, rain is forecast for late afternoon. The National Weather Service has issued a flood watch that's in effect until tomorrow morning. A former Prince George's County police officer who was found guilty of sexually assaulting a fellow officer is going to jail. 46-year-old Richard Talent will spend 7 years behind bars for assaulting a colleague outside of FOP headquarters back in September 2017. He will also have to register as a sex offender. The woman assaulted gave a statement at the hearing and said she's a survivor and not a victim. When he spoke, Talent apologized but maintained his innocence. Here is some of what the state's attorney, Aisha Braveboy, said during the hearing.
And so while we have the sentencing of an officer who violated the law and was held responsible and accountable for his actions today, I think it needs to be underscored that we have on our department strong, brave, talented, committed men and women who will not only seek justice for themselves, but ensure that justice is served.
Talent's attorney indicated they plan to appeal the sentence. While a COVID-19 vaccine is on the way, the grim reality is coronavirus cases continue to skyrocket. Maryland has reported 64 COVID-related deaths over the past 24 hours, and that's the most in a single day since May. The state has also reported more than 2,400 new cases today. Health officials say there were fewer than 200 deaths in Maryland in all of October, but that number has soared to more than 1,100 deaths in November and the first half of December. Here in hardest-hit Prince George's, there have been 980 deaths since the pandemic began. County officials are urging residents to take precautions.
So it's clear now that COVID-19 continues to spread and make our residents sick. And that's why the safety measures the county executive talked about must continue, and we need your help. Wearing a mask over your nose and mouth when you're in public will help protect you and others from the virus. Staying at least 6 feet away from people in public will help protect you and other people from the virus. Contact tracing data that we get show that gatherings and parties with people who you do not live with is really causing the spread to increase. Make smart choices.
And with the Christmas holiday right around the corner, officials are urging residents to avoid traveling and large family gatherings. Well, Governor Larry Hogan announces that he will reactivate the Maryland National Guard to help with the distribution of the COVID vaccine. Special field teams will be sent to help support with vaccination planning and operations. The Guard will also provide additional assistance in setting up mobile vaccination clinics and address outbreaks at nursing homes and long-term care facilities. Maryland's vaccination plan is currently in Phase 1A, which means only healthcare workers, first responders, and residents and staff of long-term care facilities will receive the vaccine.
We anticipate that with ongoing allocations to the state, we will be able to expand further to include people in high-risk categories, those who are at risk of complications from COVID-19 disease in Phase 1B. And Phase 2 is when we begin to be able to open up availability and access to vaccine for our critical essential workers. And our draft plan puts educators and child care providers within that phase.
No Maryland residents can be billed for COVID-19 vaccination. That, according to Maryland Insurance Commissioner Kathleen Barron. She announced yesterday that all health insurers must cover the vaccines without charge. Providers must agree to administer the vaccine regardless of an individual's ability to pay or whether they have insurance, and they may not seek any reimbursement. President-elect Joe Biden taps a former rival for a top cabinet post. Pete Buttigieg, the former mayor of South Bend, Indiana, is Biden's nominee for Transportation Secretary. If confirmed by the Senate, he would be the first openly gay person in a cabinet position. The nomination comes as the incoming administration announces more picks for senior positions, including Jennifer Granholm to run the Energy Department. Granholm is the former governor of Michigan. And you're watching CTV News. I'm Patricia Valone. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
You're looking at me in the future. Okay. Hi, Isaac.
Hi.
Wait a second.
Do you know who I am?
Julia.
This is Jaina. Into the future.
I just wanted to talk to you about what happened with those two girls.
Oh, yeah?
Do you remember it was this girl that I was getting bullied by
That one day at PE when they were like yelling at me, and then you just linked arms with me. I don't think you know how much like that helped me, because like I finally like knew that I had somebody.
Because of you, Isaac, and what you did for me years ago, I grew up to be more independent and love myself and just be a little bit more confident.
Aw, I'm like a little tearing up right now. Just to see her in the future just blossom and look beautiful, and that was really amazing.
Here are your AARP top tips on caregiver preparedness during coronavirus. First, form a caregiving team. Create a list of people in your family and friend network who can help with caregiving tasks. Take an inventory of supplies in your loved one's home. Try to have a 2-week supply of essential items. Make a list of the care recipient's medications and medical contacts. Be sure to have prescriptions on hand and ask the pharmacist for an extra 30-day supply. Make a plan to stay connected. To prevent social isolation, set up available technology to help loved ones stay connected and schedule regular chats. Finally, maintain your own self-care. Follow the Centers for Disease Control's guidelines for coronavirus safety. And have a backup plan for care in case you become ill. For more caregiving tips during the coronavirus pandemic, go to aarp.org/caregiving.
Wear a mask, social distance, and wash your hands. We've been hearing this message for months. However, with family and friends gathering for Christmas next week, the Infectious Diseases Society of America says the message has to be reinforced.
We are at a really critical juncture in this country in terms of the pandemic. The current surge is threatening our lives. It's threatening our ability to control this pandemic. It's threatening our ability to keep businesses open. And so it's critical right now that we do everything we can to prevent the spread of COVID. And one of the most simple and effective things we can do is wear a mask.
In other news, jury trials briefly resumed in October before being shut down once again due to the pandemic. They're scheduled to resume on January 4th, but with a surging number of coronavirus cases in the region, some worry that that may not happen. Now prosecutors, defense attorneys, and advocates are concerned about how the setback could further slow the legal system. Former State's Attorney Glenn Ivey, who now represents defendants, says safety has been overriding the right to get a speedy trial.
I think it's critical for the defendant, the lawyers, the witnesses, and the jury and the judge to all be together. It's hard for me to see how you can do jury trials virtually. Some of the other types of hearings, I think that works, but for jury trials, not so much. And I know there have been efforts to try and arrange the courtroom so that, you know, they can be done safely with social distancing and everything, but I think it's going to be a real challenge to do it. And most courtrooms aren't big enough to have that kind of social distancing. I mean, if you think about it, you put 12 jurors together in a jury box, and then you send them back together in a single room. that's usually pretty small. So it's by definition almost a super spreader event.
Imagine there's got to be a huge backup at this point.
The people that are really, I think, being hurt by this the most are defendants who are being held pre-trial, and they can't get a trial, and the judges don't want to release them.
Only 3 jury trials were conducted in Prince George's during the brief reopening in October. The restricted guidelines have affected several hundred cases pending in circuit court. A former employee with the Department of Juvenile Services pleads guilty to theft, bribery, and conspiracy to commit procurement fraud. 73-year-old James Hsu served as Director of General Services for DJS. Maryland Attorney General Brian Frost says Hsu received a stream of benefits from a contractor for more than 3 years. In exchange, the contractor, Andrew Seabolt, was awarded about $1.2 million in purchase orders for maintenance work at DJS facilities. Sentencing is scheduled for January 22nd. Maryland's largest HBCU receives a monetary gift worth a whopping $40 million. Morgan State University will receive the money from philanthropist Mackenzie Scott. According to officials, Scott's donation will be used to support students, advance research, and enhance investments at the Baltimore University. Meantime, Bowie State University here in Prince George's will receive a sizable grant as well. Scott is donating $25 million to Bowie State. This is the largest donation in the university's history. 'Tis the season to spread some holiday joy. A local nonprofit is seeking donations, and it needs your help. Community Advocates for Family and Youth, better known as CAFE, typically collects toys this time of year for its Helping Hands program. However, due to COVID-19, the organization is seeking monetary donations for 6 families that the organization has helped throughout 2020.
This is very important to just sort of shed some light towards all of that. And to provide some sort of light towards the families that are really, in need and may have been affected not only by those types of incidents, but by the pandemic.
And today's the last day to donate. For more information, visit cafeonline.org or call 240-470-6591. Now let's get a quick check on our 3-day weather forecast tonight. A flood watch remains in effect for our area until Thursday morning. Expect a mixture of precipitation with a low around 28. Thursday, mostly sunny with a chance of snow. Daytime temps will reach high near 36 and a low around 26. Friday, mostly sunny with a high near 38 and a low of 26. And Saturday, partly sunny with a high near 43 and a low around 33 degrees. Now for your community calendar. The county is launching a new scholarship program to support young talent in our area. Employ Prince George's is partnering with Maryland-based tech company 2U Inc. to establish a program that will provide students with skills needed for future careers in technology. Students will learn about coding, cybersecurity, and more. Applications for the scholarship are open until December 31st. Recipients will also receive a 65% tuition reduction. For more information, visit the sites that are shown there on your screen. And that wraps up CTV News. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again here tomorrow at 4:30. Have a great night.
For the latest information on COVID-19 in Maryland, visit the State Health Department website. That's health.maryland.gov. Again, health.maryland.gov. Click the link to the COVID-19 information portal. There you'll find all the latest information about coronavirus. You'll find daily updates on cases and fatalities. Answers to questions about testing and the governor's stay-at-home order are available as well. For specific information about Prince George's, visit PrinceGeorgesCountyMD.GOV. That's PrinceGeorgesCountyMD.GOV. The site offers information about local services for residents and businesses. There's a link for COVID-19 relief donations. Also, food pantry locations are listed. And if you have any questions, call the county COVID-19 hotline at 301-883-6627. That's 301-883-6627.